just say that?
Hello, this is PNNKEXU. This is PNNKEXU 96.1 FM radio, and I am here with
Amir, Kibu, Paul, Chemo, and Solomon. Oh, Paul, can you tell us what is a bid?
A bid is a business improvement district. It's a way in which commercial property owners and city and state government consolidate their control and their purview over what we used to call neighborhoods. And they're created specifically for the economic benefit of large commercial property owners and businesses in that area. And they've become a mechanism of gentrification and displacement that is driving poor people, street vendors, buskers, street artists, and especially homeless people out of those areas.
Alright, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and maybe the struggles you've been through?
I come up off the streets in San Francisco in the Tenderloin at Hospitality House in 1983 is when I started hanging out there and volunteering, and then became paid staff in 87. We felt that instead of ending the issue of homelessness, government was turning it into an industry. And so we created in 1987 the Coalition on Homelessness as a way of ensuring that the voices of poor and homeless people didn't get lost in the corporatization of poverty and homelessness. And then 14 years ago in 2005, the Coalition with partners and allies in Portland, Denver, LA, Sacramento, Oakland, we formed the Western Regional Advocacy Project to bridge our voices, build our power, do our research, and kick some butt. Who gets it now?
Sorry.
Play the music, T-Boo.
Can you tell us a little bit about what RAP does, Western Regional Advocacy Project, what they do in like different in Portland and Seattle as opposed to California?
Yeah, I mean, one of the main goals is, we all got to educate each other, educate ourselves. We all need to use messaging to get a voice out. And the issue for the member organizations of RAP and our allies like you all and a bunch of others is we wasn't hearing our stuff in the national debate. We were hearing about us poor and homeless people needing to be rehabilitated to fit back into society. We wasn't hearing about we needed to rehabilitate society to meet the needs of poor and homeless people. And so rather than sit around on our butts complaining about the fact that we weren't hearing our stuff, rather than just wishing that somebody else would say stuff that's meaningful and comes from the heart for us, we decided to form RAP and do it ourselves. And that's where we use artwork, where we do the research. We focus primarily on housing, which is gentrification and displacement and lack of a decent place to live. We also focus on criminalization, because whether you're Sisters of the Road feeding people at a cafe-style establishment in Portland, or whether you're Los Angeles Community Action Network down in Skid Row doing the street organizing, those two issues are going to resonate with you. We're being displaced and gentrified out of Skid Row. We're being displaced and gentrified out of Portland, out of Denver, out of San Francisco. So we don't all need to do individually our own research on each of those topics. We can use RAP as a think tank to do the research and the documentation that then goes to everybody and we have a artwork that connects with everybody, and we build power. You see the same poster in LA, Portland, Denver, Los Angeles, you might start getting an idea that these guys are hanging out together, that there's something happening here. These guys are building something.
Oh.
And we want to show people that we don't need to approach poverty from a charity perspective. We need to approach poverty by what caused it. And what caused it was greed, capitalism, neoliberal economics, and that's the stuff we need to be fighting.
Beautiful. Kimo.
So you mentioned that these big companies are going into areas and trying to clean up and rehabilitate the poor, black and brown, white, like, so Asian. All right, I'm gonna ask my question this time. All right, how bad is how is bid going to affect the poor community within the cities? Because you know there are a lot of poor folks within the bid districts.
I mean, there are a lot of poor folks within the bid districts until they've been around for a little bit, and then there ain't so many poor folks in that district anymore, and that's the major impetus behind it. The business improvement. This is about making this neighborhood a business improvement district. It's no longer a community neighborhood. It's now a business district. And that means it needs to serve the needs of the business community. And we know that rents go up when in areas where bids are formed. We know that small businesses get displaced in areas where bids are formed. We know that affordable housing, not the non-profit affordable housing, but places where poor people live. More poor people live in privately owned poor people of low-income housing than live in non-profit run low-income housing. And the rents go sky high. The single room occupancy hotels get changed into condos. Like, we see this over and over and over again. And if you are gonna tell me every time I go out there with a guitar to try to bust a little bit and make some money to get out of your neighborhood, to get down the street, I can't sit down, I can't stand still, I can't lay down, I can't play music, I can't set up a table and sell jewelry or artwork that I've created. That the hope is I'm going to keep hassling you every day because I got 24-hour paid security to bug you every time you show up, that you will go somewhere else. And as you see when you look at the maps of these districts as they grow, somewhere else is going to be out of town really freaking soon. And if there's a constant presence of, and they're using drones in some really extreme examples, but they're using security on foot. They're using drive-around security guys, and they're using cameras everywhere. The intent is to get you to get the hell out of my business improvement district, whether you used to call it a neighborhood or not, whether it's public space or not. It's no longer public space, it's business improvement district space, and if you ain't here to go shopping, you need to get the hell out. The East Cut bid in the lower part of San Francisco, down by the Trans Bay Terminal and the convention centers, has a rule that they created and are able to enforce that says no shopping carts in that area. That was specifically about homeless people and poor people that have to go use a laundromat, and so they put their stuff in a cart to go to the laundromat with it. And now they pass a rule that says you can't have stuff on wheels, you can't have carriages on wheels. Like, that's control. That's not just social control, that's physical control over an area that they seem to feel has been granted to them to control our public spaces, and we can't allow that stuff to go down no more.
Zaire, question, Zaire?
Who is bids ran by?
The bid is it's created by commercial property owners 9 times out of 10 in every bid we've looked at. The first initial putting the bid together is created by the commercial property owners. They then, once the bid is created and starts getting the property tax money, they then decide who sits on the board of directors that makes decisions. And in every single one we've seen, there might be one token resident who likes them. Other than that, it's all business owners all the time. And that's because it's a business improvement district. It is not there to improve the lives of poor and homeless people. It's there to improve business, so business people are the ones that run it.
Close out, Zaire. Music, yeah, when you get it.
This is KEXU 96.1, and we are out.
Yeah.
Flavor Flav!
Sorry.
Technical difficulties.
Now trying to put us in a corner like a trap round with the situation. Broken the balance is come cause it's written dialectical analysis. So how is it never had no fun until you found the revolutionary, huh?
And buy his book too.
So free Geronimo, you got a prep. Military, engineering, got a sample written lyric. When it says that's the spirit. Spat out the rat that I consume, knew that I consume since my day of birth to be the wretched of the earth. Never had a dream that was American.